Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source for what's happening now in the world of electric cars. Happy New Year! I hope you had a great celebration. And today is January 1st, which means the new Nissan Leaf is no longer the new Nissan Leaf. It is just the Nissan Leaf. It goes on sale in the United States today. We're going to talk about it. Of course, I'm going to catch up on a lot of your comments from the last week while I was on vacation. I was doing eWords. So let's get going and let's start right now. All right. Once again, Happy New Year. If this is your first time watching, welcome to this channel. If you're interested in staying up to date with everything that's going on in the universe of electric cars, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification icon so you can join this community. All right, let's talk Nissan Leaf because that's pretty much the number one thing on my mind. We've been talking about it for a while. I made no secret about the fact that I absolutely hated the previous version of the new Leaf. I have to give them some props, of course, for just at least trying it, you know, going live with it, and if you will, in 2011. When it wasn't even a thing, you know, and they did it. The previous version was a very ugly car, in my opinion. The range was pretty embarrassing, and I would say that if it wasn't for Tesla coming into the market, the Nissan Leaf would have killed the movement of electric cars because they had no improvement in many years until this summer when they've unveiled the new Nissan Leaf. And I have to say, they kind of got me. I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. Now, it's not perfect. There are quite a few things that are still wrong with it. Now, I was happy that Nissan wanted to work with me, and they have actually invited me for the Drive Electric week here in Silicon Valley, where I got to meet the new Leaf. And I think this is the picture, and you can see me do what I do the best, is point. Just I guess my pastime. I do pretty well. So I got to meet it, but didn't drive it. And then later on, I ended up actually driving it, as just having a test drive. Also here in Silicon Valley. This is the video. Definitely check it out. It's on my channel. I have done a couple of videos about Nissan Leaf. I overall am impressed. I love the new look. I mean, it's just, you know, it's not amazing. It just looks like any other normal car. So I that's good, because I really hated the fact that the electric cars all look like compliance cars. Like they all looked like a car that was made just to kind of satisfy the, you know, the mandates or whatever. They didn't look like regular cars. And I think the best thing about Tesla is one of the best things about Tesla when it came out with the Model S, it looked like just a good looking regular car. So people didn't have to say, oh, ew, that's an electric car. Yeah, yeah. Well, so the Nissan Leaf now looks like a regular Nissan. So I'm happy about that. The range was pretty pathetic, I believe. And it was about, what, realistically 80, 90 miles. And now they've upped it to 151, I guess, mile. We'll see what the real life range is. Now, they started making it already. They're on sale in Europe. I believe the first delivery started in February, but today, January 1st, they are on sale here in the United States. The factory, I believe, is in Tennessee. That's one of the largest factories now in the United States for mass production cars. So kudos to them. They're rolling out of the conveyors there and arriving at the dealerships in the next few days all over the country. They've announced that they have over 10,000 reservations already in Europe, actually just in Europe. That's not counting United States. That's not counting Japan. So those numbers are pretty impressive. Now, there are some problems. And by the way, you know, thank you for watching my eWords, the show that I made up that a lot of you enjoyed, and interesting comments that we'll go over it in just a second. But the Nissan Leaf was in quite a few categories, and it was a nominee in a category called the most disappointing feature, not the car, the most disappointing feature of the year. Did not win it. It was the Tesla Autopilot 2 second generation that won that category. But as a feature, the lack of the active thermal management system is a huge disappointment. They had that on the previous Leaf, and that did pretty poorly. The battery degradation was pretty apparent, and they just didn't get it done. I know not everybody's happy with the range, but they are coming up with another version at the end of this year now with 200 miles plus. So that's going to be fixed, though again, I believe 151 miles is an acceptable range now, and I think it will appeal to a lot of people. But also, in the E-Awards, the new Leaf has won the biggest competitor, I forget my own categories, the biggest competitor to Tesla, simply because it's available worldwide. Obviously right now it is the most improved, one of the most improved cars of the year as well. They were nominated in that category, and most importantly, they're priced really well right now, and we didn't really know what the price is going to be because we didn't know what was happening with a $7,500 tax rebate here in the United States. And by the way, China also re-upped their 10% rebate as well. So now we know that in China and in the United States, it's gonna keep going. So the Leaf will start about $30,000. There is a mandatory delivery fee, but nevertheless, they start with $30,000. So if you combine a $7,500 tax rebate, tax credit, will along with some of the other state and provinces rebates and some European rebates, here in California it's $2,500. So it makes the new Leaf be priced at $20,000, which is for the car of the electric car with an acceptable range, is actually very good, very appealing. I dare say this is the most practical, cheapest electric car in the market right now. I'm not surprised people are lining up, and despite the fact that, you know, the previous Leaf was a disappointment to a lot of us, pathetic range, ugly look. I mean, I see comments right now flying saying it is very ugly. Yes, Toyota Prius is a little bit ugly, Nigel, agreed. But nevertheless, they've created a following. They've sold over 110,000 of these cars since they've came up with it, and there are people who will just jump from the previous Leaf to this Leaf, just because they've created a following. So they've created a following. They're on sale in Canada, United States, Europe, China, everywhere, Japan, everywhere. This is why they're going to compete very well with Tesla, and that's why I believe they're impressing. Tony, thank you so much for your super chat. This is my first super chat of the year. Thank you so much. Tony is saying, just starting you off in the green for 2018. Okay, pun intended, I understand. Thank you so much. Here's to the new year. Happy New Year, Alex. Thank you so much, Tony. Tony is one of the most active participants in this community and a Patreon. By the way, if you want to become a Patreon like Tony, you can join it. It's patreon.com/E4Electric. You can join it in the description of this video. So thank you so much, Tony, for your contribution. As always, Happy New Year to you. A Happy New Year to all of you guys. All right, so the Nissan Leaf, I believe, is the biggest story. Don't forget, their sales in 2011 weren't bad at all. It was almost, I'm looking at my notes, it was almost at a little over, no, it was almost 1,000 units. No, I'm sorry, 9,000 units that they sold. This past year, 2017, they sold 11,000. So it kind of went up and down. At their peak at 2004, in 2014, they sold over 30,000 of those. So as you can see, there was interest in them until, you know, Tesla kind of came along and other manufacturers came along and just made better cars. But now they're back to compete. I expect their sales to go back to 20, 30, maybe even 40,000 this year. They sure have the production numbers as well, so they can do very, very well. A lot of Happy New Year's in the chat room. Thank you so much. Q-Tip Shark says, I'll take the improvement, talking about the Nissan Leaf. Tony says, wow, 38,000 starting price. No, Tony, it actually starts at 30,000. That's the starting price. 38,000 is top of the line model, again minus the incentives, and it will probably be in about 20,000 range. Rhinestone Cowboy says old Nissan Leaf was ugly in a lot of minds, Alex, including mine, absolutely. Krishan says hello from India. Hello, John from Chicago. A lot of regulars. I hope you guys are having a Happy New Year. It looks like you're all up and running. No, I'm sure some of you are hungover, so this is a party at this point. Jan says in Slovakia, Leaf starts at 31,000 euros, which is 37,000. Yeah, so I'm definitely dedicating this to kind of a Leaf launch in the United States because it's going to be really big here. I know it's more expensive in Europe, but it's more practical in Europe because the distances are not as much. So the range makes more sense. Of course, a compact hatchback is extremely popular in cities here, in big cities in the United States, and pretty much everywhere in Europe. So that also makes sense for them. Fernando says, hi buddy, can you please dedicate some minutes during your show to the new Chrysler Pacifica hybrid plug-in? From what I heard, between electric, hybrid, and gas combined, you get 80 miles per gallon. You know, I'm not really big on hybrids. I mean, the hybrids, I'm leaving them in the past. This is all about fully electric cars. That's what I'm supporting. Of course, hybrids are better than gas, but still, I will look into this. If you don't mind sending me an email, I'll definitely try to see if this is worth researching. But thank you so much for the suggestion. Tony says, Alex, that 38,000 amount was in reference to Fran's comment regarding Germany's starting price. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, starting prices are definitely different from country to country, because in some countries you have to pay tariffs like in China. Tesla is very expensive because of 25% tariff. So yeah, listen guys, I am very, very excited about Nissan Leaf. I think this is going to be one of the biggest stories. I'm going to try to catch up with them at the CES. I know they're not really presenting or anything like that, but I'll try to catch up with them and see what's new. But I'm definitely going to keep my eye on their on what's happening with them in this year, and I think they're going to have a very good year. Though I do think, and I hope for their own sake, they're going to create the active thermal management system. It's really hard to pronounce. I'm getting an allergy just saying that. And of course, I hope they improve the range just a little bit more. All right, guys. Now, this is the time when I usually do comment of the day. However, I had to catch up for all of the comments for the 9 days that I was on my vacation. Thank you so much for all of them. It took me over 3 hours to go over them. I tried to reply, of course, as to many of them as possible. I have to say the most popular comment of about anything was about my tie, which I appreciate. I don't know if some of you knew that I used to have a fashion channel that I kind of given up on to kind of dedicate myself full time to this channel. But yeah, my Hex Tie. I know there are some celebrities wear this time as well, so you guys we're referring to some of the celebrities who wear it, but I love this tie. This is pretty cool. I actually own two. I have it for you right here. They're not sponsors or anything like that. I just love it. They have the best sale on right now. I gotta tell you, I bought this for like $100, but they're on sale like for $50, and you get like a similar type of a bow tie there right now. I just looked it up when I was. So this kind of made out of plastic. It's really cool, and I also have a red one too, which I should wear at some point. So it's really cool. It's like a bow tie. It goes around your neck like this, and it's just cool. Anyway, thank you so much for the fashion related comments on that. So that was the biggest comment for this video. But no, also I think a lot of you took it a little bit more seriously. I mean, I was kind of trying to make fun of the award shows. And you know, not everybody agreed with every single nominee category. A lot of people say, well, the Roadster second generation should have been there, competing with other existing cars because that's not in production. But you know, I was just trying to have fun with this. I was just trying to make fun of the award shows. But most importantly, I wanted to kind of summarize this year and review in different categories, and just it was more like thought-provoking for all of us to kind of remember what happened, get excited about this new year, and just compare some things, some of our ideas and so forth. So this wasn't a big deal. I appreciate all of the comments, and of course, disagreeing with me is absolutely fine as long as you sort of state your claim, why you're disagreeing, and bring something to the table. So. So yeah, in the comments, once again, somebody called Bolt a decent card, but ugly, which I 100% agree. I'm sorry, I just lost. Oh yeah, that was Robert. So you guys, it looks like you're having your own conversation about Toyota Prius, which I don't want to get started. To me, it's not even a part of this whole thing. Toyota has done a horrible job in electric car movement and in technology in general. I'm hoping to catch up with them at the CES and maybe ask them that question, but I don't know if I'll have a chance. Dan in the chat room says, disappointed that the Leaf lacks the battery size. Active thermal cooling, the Bolt does have the active cooling system, so that is definitely a plus for them. All right, so I only have about a minute to go, so I just want to say thank you for all the comments. I really didn't, I mean, there were just kind of a few categories that I kind of mentioned that you guys made about the awards, the categories, the cars that were there. It looks like I got most of them right. You agree with most of what I was talking about, so that was pretty cool. I definitely and I got a bunch of recommendations for the next year, including some categories. So thank you for that. I will definitely, if this was a thing, I'll definitely gonna have a second annual awards at the end of this year. So that is where we are at. I'm going to go back to just reviewing a comment at the time. Thank you so much for making comments. Of course, it is also always awesome to read them, so I appreciate it so much. And yeah, this year is going to be amazing. The electric car movement is going to be exciting. I'm going to CES in just a few days. We're going to do a quick review of what's going to be happening there, what to expect. It's going to be super exciting. Going to be going live there for you guys. So just so many exciting things. So yeah, a happy new year. Happy New Year to all of us in this electric car movement. We are going to have an amazing year. So that's it for me for now. I will see you guys tomorrow once again at 11 o'clock. Until then, remember to stay charged.